What's good, y'all? It's your boy J Suave. I'm the host of J Suave TV. As y'all can see, I very much have that shit on today. I don't even like to gas myself up like that, but some might say I'm wearing it pretty well on this Wednesday. Great fit aside, though, we not here to talk about that. We are still investigating the murder of Shawn famous Figueroa in Power Book 3, Raising Kanan. I really can't stand how they did my boy like that. Really left him under the mattress and tortured him for what? After the events of Power Book 3, Season 4, Episode 7, there's some new evidence that we could bring to the table to maybe help us figure out exactly what happened. I'm be real with y'all, with every episode that passes, it feels like this investigation gets harder and harder to crack. They're doing such a good job at expanding this story on who killed Famous. And the craziest part is, it's not even the central story. We still got Rock dealing with Unique right now. But some way, somehow, in the midst of all this, we still get sprinkles on what could have happened to Famous throughout these last couple episodes. I think about some of the evidence that we've obtained so far, and I'm just like, is it too obvious? Is what's right in our face just too easy for it to really be what's going on? I give these writers a lot of praise for how they've put all these storylines together to make it make sense and really fit what's going on in the series. So I have no doubt that whatever they got cooked for Famous is going to be great. I'm just trying to see if I could bring the streets that body before they reveal it to us. So here we are for part 3. Really appreciate the support on the first 2 parts, and if y'all want to support this one too, it will be much appreciated. I heard through the grapevine that Power Book 3 is on a break until May 2nd. That's when we'll be getting episode 8. Expect a couple more Book 3 theories from me in that time. For sure got a video from Marvin coming to y'all. I'm thinking about doing one for Neek and Lou as well. So y'all be on the lookout for that. But until then, we're here to continue with the investigation of Shawn famous Figueroa's murder. Now, if y'all like anything I'm saying in this video at all, y'all already know what y'all have to do. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Do all those things before I even get into the video. So admittedly, in this episode, we don't get as much evidence as we probably could have got. But in my opinion, there's still enough to add to the report that's substantial. One of those pieces of evidence involves something that Rock says to Jukebox early on in the episode, where Jukebox asks if she believes that Unique had anything to do with Famous dying, after Rock now finds out that Unique is back on the street. Her response to this is the way Famous got knocked up and dumped up in the Bronx like that. It doesn't seem like something Unique would do. Now, just the wording of what Rock tells to Jukebox. Knocked up, I don't know. It just seems like somebody that was close to what happened. Admittedly, this is a reach, so we'll move past it. But don't think you off the hook, Raquel Thomas. No, man. You are still very suspicious for some activity you do in this episode that we're going to talk about in a little bit. Sometime after this scene, we get a conversation with Jukebox and Kanan where they're kind of going over Unique being around. But more so still trying to put the pieces together on what exactly happened to Fame now that they can rule out Freddy's gang from being a part of his hit. Now it's here where Kanan tells Jukebox the words of that one gangbanger in the last episode really been sticking with him regarding the cops potentially being involved in Famous's murder. Juke responds by saying it wouldn't be something that they would just do on their own. They would have to have some kind of motivation to even involve themselves in Famous's murder. Stating that if that was the case, that a cop was involved in Famous's death, that somebody on the street initiated the hit to get Famous up out of here. Nothing to the fact of the cops being brought up as being involved in Famous's death on 2 separate occasions, this episode and one before, I think there's a strong possibility that dirty cops were definitely involved in Famous's murder. Specifically the torture that Garcia mentioned he went through in the last episode. Now coincidentally in this same episode, once Kanan finds out that he's been robbed by likely OC, he's out here on the streets looking for him, trying to find his location to get his bread back. And look who he runs into while doing so. He catches his mother in 4K paying these feds from season 3. The ones who revealed themselves to be dirty cops in the last season when they were messing with Rock's legitimate shop. Now after this, Kanan thinks he got it all figured out. He's telling Crystal, I know who killed Fame. It's my mother. I think he done cracked the code. I was geeked too when I seen this. I thought this was the final nail in the coffin to finally make Rock connected to Famous's hit. But admittedly, this is not enough evidence to tie Rock to Famous's hit. No, it is not. But I can understand why Kanan is thinking what he's thinking in this moment. There's been so many times in this series where Rock has betrayed his trust. Taking out D-Wiz, killing his pops right in front of him, taking out Scrap. There's so many different times in this series alone where Rock has done my boy foul. Now, I know I said the evidence that I brought up does not necessarily make Rock involved in Famous's hit. And that's true. But love her or not, this is a character that you cannot rule out of being involved in this hit because of her history and track record leading up to this point. But now that I've gone through all the evidence that was revealed in this episode, I gotta pose the question to y'all. Are the writers baiting us? Are they subverting our expectations and want us to wholeheartedly believe that Rock and potentially Marvin, but more so Rock, were involved in Famous's death when she really was not? Are there any other suspects that I maybe have not mentioned that could have taken out Famous, who have similar motivations to Rock and Marvin to take Famous up off the board? I mean, for crying out loud, Rock killed her own moms in this episode, something that Lou and Marvin could not build themselves to do. One thing about Kanan's mother, she's gonna get the job done. Obviously, her taking out her mother was a mercy. She was doing her a favor taking her out. I just found it interesting that we see her take her mom out right after Kanan reveals to Crystal that he believes that his mom took out Famous. Like, this is a character that is capable of bad things. We've seen it time and time and time again. I think Rock could have been doing one of two things in his interaction with this cop. Either A, she's paying him to get more information on what Unique is doing out in the street to try to formulate a game plan on how to counteract what he's been doing to her organization. Or B, she's paying them for what she had them do to Famous. Kind of 50-50 on exactly why she paid them the bread. But like I said, this show has subverted our expectations before, so I wouldn't be surprised if they did it again. I just don't feel like the motive for the other suspects are high enough. Now, speaking of suspects, I recently seen Snaps and Pops being labeled as potential suspects in Famous's passing. Now look, nothing against Snaps and Pops. There are definitely characters who have been on the low key this season, despite being on the poster. Like, when are they gonna make a major move? You know what I'm saying? But these are two characters who I've seen their reputation speak more for them, more so than their actions, and much respect to them because they definitely do have aura. Look at the color coordinated fits. They are not playing. You walk in the room and you know they are about business. But yeah, there's this theory going around that apparently Snaps and Pops are involved in Famous's death. We know that they are heavily connected to the cops. They got cops on their payroll. We see Kanan see this in the second episode of this season, I think. And so they very well could be paying the cops off for what they had them do to Famous. Maybe they heard that Famous was talking too much and potentially could have leaked information about their organization. But my whole thing is, what would he have known really about the organization outside of the fact that Ronnie was affiliated? Does he even know Ronnie's affiliated with Snaps and Pops? I just feel like that would be too reckless of a hit for Snaps and Pops to orchestrate personally. Now, maybe Rock potentially came to them for help in doing so, but I don't see Rock doing that in her character. So I guess we could add them to the suspects list, but I personally don't see them having any involvement in Famous' death. Y'all let me know if y'all buying into that theory. There's also Stefano, who is a potential suspect, I guess, because we know Marvin's been doing all this work for him, but when is he gonna come around and return the favor to Marvin? We see the first task that Marvin executes for Stefano in the season 4 premiere is well before Famous is dead. So what if Marvin heard on the street that Famous was snitching, giving up information on the organization, and he has Stefano pay him back? You know, Stefano has the manpower to make that happen, and I think he has connections to the cops too. He could have had the cops pick him up and bring him to the spot where he could have been tortured, and then Marvin took the kill shot and took Famous out from then on. Leaving Rock out the picture, she would not know anything about what happened to Famous in this situation. I have my reservations about Stefano because we know Stefano got this big ass furnace that we have not seen anybody thrown through yet, and now we know Famous's body was out on the street and not in that furnace. So I want to leave him out because I feel like whoever Stefano ends up taking out, or if Marvin takes him out on some nut shit, because we already know Marvin wasn't too much appreciating the conversation that he and Stefano had in the last episode, where Stefano suggested that he should take over for Rock in this period of time. And we know Marvin liable to crash out. What if he push him through that furnace? Regardless if that happened or not, one, somebody gotta go in that furnace, and two, I'm ruling out Stefano from killing Famous. That's because what does it serve the story if we find out that Stefano killed Famous, especially if Marvin was involved in it? I mean, it would be a bad look on Marvin for sure. Kanan definitely would not be messing with him anymore, nor would Lou or Rock or Jukebox. But then at that point, it's just him being hated on by his whole family. I just don't really see it going down like that. At that point, kill off the character and good luck, because these fans love Marvin, including me. I don't know, man. With all the evidence said, I'm still big Marvin and Rock took out Fame. I know it's extremely obvious, and I have a lot of respect for the staff who write this series. But you have to think, what other suspects would have more motivation to take Famous out in this situation than these two right here? Unique is not stressing Famous at all, I promise. Plus, if Unique was to take out Famous, what point would that serve? What motivation would that really serve? Okay, yeah, Kanan would be pissed at Unique. He'd want to take out Unique, and I guess at that point we could finally put all them Unique is Breeze theories to bed. But more than likely, if Unique took out Famous, he wasn't in his right mind. The way they're setting up Famous's death and who murdered him, it's too calculated. We already heard in that conversation with Juke and Kanan that if the cops were involved in Famous's death, that somebody on the street put the hit out on him to begin with. That's not just information that was thrown in there. Whether or not Rock paying off that cop in this episode comes back to be related to this case, somebody paid off a cop to take out Famous. I'm just thinking the way he was disposed of after the fact was not thorough at all. That has Marvin written all over it. This is all just a testament to how great this show is. Like, the fact that a character death is still hitting us like this, having us converse about his death like this. Y'all really got to give Raising Kanan his flowers. It's the best Power spinoff, no doubt. But yeah, y'all, just a video to bring up the new evidence that we got in 407 regarding who could have taken out Famous. I don't know if I was more so yapping in this video. I guess I'll see that while I'm editing. But this is just a tough murder investigation to crack. It all seems like it's right out there in our face that it's Rock and Marvin who did it. But admittedly, it just feels too obvious to be true. But sometimes it really do be like that though. Y'all leave y'all thoughts in the comments on who y'all believe took out Fame. We getting closer and closer to that reveal. We on a break this week, obviously. But I know by the end of the season, they gotta let us know who took this boy out. Y'all can definitely expect more power content to come before the next episode. But until then, I'll be your host, Jay Suave. Hope you be entertained. And we gonna talk soon. Peace, y'all.